Welcome to another episode of let's do it again. Welcome to another episode of 90 Minutes of Wisdom, a channel dedicated to helping you expand your knowledge and develop a more successful and peaceful mind. My guest today is a multi-modality healer rooted in indigenous tradition. He empowers people by teaching and showing them how to unleash their true potential. He is a mound of profound wisdom and insight. It is my pleasure to welcome to the show Brady Clifton Bennett. Welcome, Brady. Welcome, man.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing so good that if I was any better, they'd probably try and tax me for it. Especially the way the world's going right now. A lot of things that we can actually do. We don't even understand how powerful we are, and that's a lot about what I like to teach people, is just to really, really educate them on how powerful they are, because we're essentially just giant magnets that are calling forward to the universe saying, hey, we want this, or hey, we want that, via our thoughts and our feelings and our emotional centers, right? And that's the language that the universe communicates with us, is through thoughts and emotions. The 6 degrees of reality, like what I like to go over with a lot of people in one of the first sessions from Jonathan Emmerich. Number 1, I am. Number 2 is acceptance. From the first 2, the acceptance of what I am, comes the third one, which is feelings. Right? And feelings then generate thoughts, which creates the fourth one. Fourth one is thoughts. And thoughts then generate gravity, right? We caught on this one in The Secret, but they left out the first 3 in The Secret, right? Because on purpose, they didn't want you to know that the first ones were what they were. So we got I am, acceptance. From the acceptance of what I am comes the feelings. The feelings generate thoughts. The thoughts then generate gravity. And gravity then attracts a 6th degree, which is what everything in the entire universe is made out of, and that's light and electromagnetic frequency. So if you look at these 6 things, you can actually start to reverse engineer your reality, right? What thoughts am I having? Okay. Why am I having those thoughts? Oh, it's the feeling. Oh, okay. But where's the feelings come from? The feelings and the thoughts, when you line them up, that's when our superpower comes into being, right? As humans, that is the most powerful state. When we can align our thoughts and our emotions, we can actually, it says in old text, that we can tell mountains to move and they will move. And what it's describing within that is our powers to manifest things and our powers to interact with the universe. But most people have their emotions over here and their brains are over here, their thoughts are over here, and their emotions are way over here, and they're completely opposite of each other. I want this over here, but I can't have it because I think this and this and this and this. Or I feel like I can't have it, but this is what I want, and I'm dreaming about this over here. And when you get the 2 lined up, that's when things start to come into be, because that's what our power and our communication with the entire universe is our thoughts and our emotions, right? So you start to get into the thoughts, where the thoughts come from, the feelings, where the feelings come from, acceptance. Oh, right, acceptance of what I am, the number 1 principle. Right, so you can actually literally look back at most key aspects of your life and start to work with this. This is something I actually tell people to work on their own a little bit. Sometimes I do a little bit of work with them, but I tell them to write down these degrees of reality and do a little bit of work within themselves, but at least better understand themselves, right? So that they can better understand who, what, where they are, why they do things they do, why they've got the things that they've got, and all this other stuff. And start to take a little bit of responsibility for their own lives, because if they don't, they're constantly going to be like, it's your fault. It's not mine. I have nothing to do with the fact that I failed. It's your fault I failed. You did it all. You set me up to fail. It's all your fault, which just never is. We all know that, like, at least those of us who have taken our responsibility for our life, we all know that we're responsible.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you touched on so many good points there. Knowing yourself, like Art of War, it's like the first thing, right? It's like to know yourself, and it's very difficult. I'd say, to what degree your true self. Each person might think they know themselves, and then when you get into that, you say like, well, there's your, everyone has a certain ego self, and then there's true spirit self, and like you said, we're infinite light beings that are jammed into a baby body, and then given some kind of amnesia, and then between the ages of 0 and 10, we have 0 and 5 genius level, and it starts to go down right rapidly until 10, and that's why
0 to 7 is what we
0
call
to
it.
yeah.
NLP.
Okay, right. Yeah. So 0 to 7. As you said, it's kind of like this computer where you have no programming, and everything, like you said, with your five senses, you start taking it and you start making rules now, or beliefs, right?
Yeah.
This is so. Now, this is like, you see someone get hit by a baseball, you say, baseball is dangerous. And then you see somebody else say, this is easy. You say, that must be easy, and
Yeah. First, you make your beliefs, and your beliefs make you.
I think it's really cool what you said too about the emotion tied to the thought. Like, I want this car, but every time you think of it, you think like you could never have it. You don't deserve it. You feel like crap. Then it's like this disharmony. And then saying, in reality, yes, everything there is. You have to have the opening. So even let's say if you're driving and somebody cuts you off, well, it wasn't just a random thing. You had an opening. You created somewhere the opening for that person to cut you off in your field, in your energetic field. So what is there to learn from that?
It's funny because my family has that kind of a gift where they can hear people's thoughts sometimes, and I've the whole entire family has been around people, been like, "What did you say? Like, what did you say?" And they're like, "Nothing. I didn't say anything." They're like, "Oh, I thought you said that," and they're like, "What? I did not say that, but I just thought exactly that." And my whole family has had that happen numerous times throughout their life with different people, right? So it's something like we're picking up on some kind of energetic frequency. Like thoughts are energy, everything's energy. We're tuned into that energy somehow in my DNA structure. I'm tuned into that a little bit, but it'd be interesting, but probably extremely overwhelming if I was able to tap into people's thoughts a little bit more. I'm glad it only happens periodically, like every once in a while. Otherwise, I might go a little bit nuts with the way other people think.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing because there's that movie. It's called "What Women Want." There's this old movie, right? I think that was the title, with Mel Gibson, where he could start hearing the thoughts of women, where you could, and it starts, and it's kind of, obviously it's a romantic comedy. It's a silly movie, but the concept is of driving yourself kind of crazy by hearing, right, all these different thoughts around you. But that's
Yeah. And it's one of the things too, like that I work with people is, okay, if you don't have a solid opinion on who you are, you can take everybody else's opinion and internalize it. Everybody else's opinion of you is going to be what you think of yourself, what you think of your own self-worth. So you need to tell your own damn story, your own damn self-worth, your own damn self-belief, and your own damn worth, whatever, everything that you got in your life. If you don't sit there, you don't tell your own story, you don't say who I am, you don't say I'm confident, I'm amazing, I'm powerful, I know that I can do this, you're going to come in there and you're going to take everybody else's opinion of, you're a piece of shit, you can't do it, you should just end yourself. They come out of that and they take that internally, but not realizing that that's nothing to do with them at all. Like everybody that sits there and screams at you their opinion and tells you all this other stuff, that's their little piece of the puzzle over here, in between my fingers. Like, that's over here. You're over here. You see a different piece of the puzzle. You don't have to necessarily agree with every single person that's out there, especially if they're negative and telling you that, you're this or you're that. And whenever somebody tells me, like, I used to get bullied a lot as a kid. I used to be a really small kid and everything else. I used to get beat up. I used to get I moved around a lot, and I didn't know how to fight. I didn't know how to do anything. I didn't know how to protect myself. And I got beat up a lot as a kid, and I internalized it for a little while, and then I just went and I played. I just had fun, and that's just what kids do, right? We go and we play, and that's a lost art that we lose as adults too, is to deal with trauma by play. To when a kid has something traumatic happen, he's like, "Let's go play. Let's play. Let's go play. Come on, let's play." And that's a kid's response to trauma. And that's actually one of the best ways to deal with it, with the trauma, is to actually get your mind into a frame of joy and pleasure and satisfaction instead of sitting there and reliving the whole thing 10 billion times in your mind and thinking it's going to happen every single second of every single day. Humans are one of the only animals out there that will internalize stuff and live it again and 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 again as if it's happening right now.
Yes.
But it
Yes.
only happened once.
Well said. Very well said. I completely agree. We have this tendency to beat ourselves up, run that negative thing. We made a mistake. We run it over and over and over, and then we're attracting that negative energy. And we're not being in the now. We're living in the past. But by bringing that past energy into the now, we're actually sabotaging our future. With that that same
Oh, yeah.
negative energy, right? Being pulled to us.
Exactly.
And then I think it's brilliant what you said too about children, how they can get like hurt or fight with each other and they're crying, and then it's like 5 seconds later they're laughing with the same kid and they're playing, and you're like, man, why can't we do this? You'll never have two adults in an argument and then count to 5 or 7 seconds and then they're laughing and something out of it would just be it's unheard of. And their capacity to forgive and to change emotional states like that, I think is very cool, and we can learn